Get your weapons. Let's go. Move, move, move. Go, go. Target down! Clean up, aisle 3.
It's almost kind of a different role for you in a sense that your character could be either a good guy or a bad guy. And there's a lot of different levels, which really shows in your performance. What was it like playing this character?
What was really challenging was that even though I had all the weapon training and all this stuff, the director really, David Ayer, really insisted that we all, not just me, really train with the actual SWAT team in Los Angeles. And he insisted that we go down there often enough every week for 3 months, and that we spend time with the SWAT team, with the members, to understand their mentality in order so we can use it in our acting.
Our job was to come in and make those actors fit those roles. Firearms training, combat training, weapons, tactics.
We trained these guys as if I was training any team, and I worked with SWAT teams around the country, and we train the actors the same way.
Any part of the training that was the toughest for you for this movie?
One of the most exhausting was, you know, we did stand-up and ground fighting MMA, you know, every day for weeks, and it was like 2 hours at a time. You would do stand-up, you know, fighting rounds, and then we would do like 6 5-minute ground fighting rounds against fresh fighters. So you'd get like a minute of rest in between, and I'd have to go in on somebody who was sitting on the sidelines after I just did, you know, 4 rounds of 5 minutes. So that was like pretty gnarly. And then I would power lift in the morning with my trainer. So by that time it was like, you know, but it was a good workout. It was a challenge. It was very it was challenging. You know, it was challenging, and the training, especially on the technical side, was very intricate. As far as, like, you know, breaching and clearing and things like that. And obviously when you're handling shotguns, handguns, fully automatic weapons on range, you've got to be concentrating. So, you know, there's a high level of concentration.
Yeah, it definitely shows throughout the movie.
Good.
It's like with David Ayer, who's directing this, he's a guy who doesn't hide away from the truth of what these guys face.
No, and David and I bonded over that when we met. That was something that I love David's movies, you know, all of them.
The cartel thinks you'd stolen money.
You see any other feds getting smoked?
Cartel's got your wife and kid.
Please don't find me!
I'm gonna destroy them.
To me, the director is always the most important person on the set, right? It's not the producer or anyone else, it's the director. He really has the vision. And a guy like David Ayer, who has done such brilliant movies like Training Day and Fast and Furious and, of course, End of Watch and stuff like that. He's brilliant, a great director and a great writer.
Yeah, it definitely shows. I watched End of Watch last night just to get a sense of his direction a little bit. Well, and the thing I like about his movies is he doesn't sugarcoat reality. He really gets right to the
The way it is, this is the way it is. You know,
yeah.
He insists on that. He doesn't want to make a Hollywoody kind of a movie. He wants to show you what's really out there, what's the real world like.
He and I like to work the same way. I like to really inhabit my characters, and I love research. I mean, that's probably the thing I love the most about acting,
Yeah.
is researching and stepping into someone else's skin. And so, you know, I think he and I saw eye to eye on that. And I certainly had a great opportunity to do that in a very privileged view of a world that most people don't get to see.
That's true. Yeah.
Today's raid on the cartel led to a seizure of hundreds of millions of dollars. $10 million is missing from your bust. Did you steal it? No.
Was there anything that surprised you about the research you did for this movie?
The way that the world works, the way that the money flows, the fact that you don't see in the papers what's actually going on, and probably for good reason, but the fact that it is that scary, and the fact that it is that close to where we are, you know, it's a bit like taking the pill in the Matrix. Like, these guys actually showed me how the world works, and I just couldn't get over it. I mean, it took me a while to kind of process what they were saying to me. That you mean that's the world that we live in, and that's what's really happening behind the scenes, and you know, it's just a sense of being so sheltered, and you realize that most of society, you know, American society is that way for good reason. You know, you don't want to have to live in fear every day the way that people do in other countries, other areas, and So it really gave me a respect for what these guys do.
Where would you like to see your acting career go from here at this point?
Well, I think that for me, the most important thing always was to improve in every way. And to do interesting movies that I feel like that will be a big hit in America, but also overseas, because I think the international market is now much more important than ever. And so to me that's important, and that I work with creative and good directors, because like I said, I always had great luck when I worked with a great director. I mean, if you look at the James Cameron, you know, with the Terminator movies or True Lies, or with Paul Verhoeven in Total Recall, John McTiernan in Predator, Ivan Reitman with Twins, right, in Kindergarten Cop. I mean, these are all great directors, and David Ayer is a great director. And so to me, when you have a chance to work with a great man like that, you should take this opportunity and go with it.
Absolutely, yeah. This is definitely one of your best performances because there's a lot of complexities to the character.
Thank you.
And you really pulled it off.
Yeah, thanks very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Say I'm a kid star. Until I'm as high as I can be. And y'all ain't gon' fly as high as me. Y'all ain't gon' bring me down.
Sabotage.